Each year to give the students an opportunity to make music with students they don't normally get to make music with. The fifth graders typically have their classes in their home schools, in small groups, and they don't really realize until they get here what they're actually a part of. And then they get to see what they get to be a part of in the future when they hear the middle schoolers and the high schoolers. Same with the middle schoolers and high schoolers. We get to work together here as one team with the students from all across the district and realize that what we have is a performing arts department of the whole district that is pretty amazing. I'm a very proud and honored member of the faculty here. We have all the string faculty here and many of our band colleagues as well helping out. We also have guest conductors, guest clinicians that you'll hear about coming forward. All coming together to work with your students and to make this both an amazing day and a part of an amazing journey that the fifth graders are beginning and the rest of the students are in the midst of. Without further ado, let's get started with our music making. And I'm going to turn the program over to our guest conductors of the from the Berkley Public Schools and Mrs. Sarah Lenhart from the Hudsonville Public Schools have been here all morning working with your students. And here we have the fifth grade orchestra.
We're going to kick off with an amazing rendition of Hot Ode to Dad and Hot Cross Buns. And then we're going to do it as a duet. And we, of course, have Mrs. Bloomberg, who is our accompanist extraordinaire today. So this is the fifth grade orchestra.
Next, they learned the D scale, which uses two of the strings, and they learned how to put down all of their fingers. And we use a rhythm called pepperoni pizza. So this is the pepperoni pizza rock D scale. And today we taught them 2 new songs. They had never done these before this morning. So here are 2 songs that we're not going to tell you what they're called because you're going to recognize them. Here in Farmington. As you're going to hear, it's a fantastic program. It's something they get to be a part of for years to come. So thank you.
Thank you guys very much. Fifth graders, I am blown away by what I'm seeing and hearing. And as someone who may get to work with you when you get older in the middle school or the high schools, I am so excited by what I just saw today. Bravo, keep it up. Next, we come to our 7th grade orchestra from all our middle schools. And the 7th graders, in addition to working with their guest conductor, who I'll introduce to you in a moment, also got to work with sectional coaches, some of the finest musicians in the area, members of the Detroit Symphony, members of the Michigan Opera Theater, people who are have devoted their lives to these instruments. And we bring them in each time we have this to work with both the middle school and the high school students. And so the middle school students got an hour sectional with our clinicians. And then they had 2 hours of rehearsal with our very special guest conductor. Ms. Wendy Stuart has been a colleague and a friend of mine for a very long time. She is the orchestra director for the Clarkston schools. She conducts the Oakland Youth Orchestra and loves to come out and do this sort of event with students like this. I'm going to hand the program over to Ms. Stuart.
Thank you so much for having me out again in Farmington to do this awesome day for strings. It just needs to be changed. It needs to be the awesome day for strings because this is truly awesome. Looking forward to hearing you. Great job, 5th graders. And we are going to put on quite a show as well. Yes, 7th graders? Woo. We've had a great time this morning preparing for today's concert. We've worked a lot on watching. And what are we going to play? C sharper. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to encourage you to continue such amazing support for the young people in this community, to have this opportunity to play music and to play so well. Please continue to support your fine teachers. Please continue to just celebrate this, because without your caring and your nurturing like you've done for so many years, it just doesn't stay as awesome. So I am so incredibly excited to be part of this, and you're not here to hear me talk. Please continue this amazing tradition. Thank you so much.
Bravo, 7th grade orchestra. Well done. Before we go to the high school orchestra, two groups of people I need to mention. The first one, when the 5th graders were performing, there were a whole bunch of students that you may have seen around with them. There are a group of over a dozen high school students from all 3 high schools who, in addition to performing this afternoon in the Day for Strings High School Orchestra, volunteered their time to come and work with all the 5th graders all morning. And so could we give a round of applause and a thank you. Thank you, mentors. I'd like to introduce one other person. We talked about the clinicians that come to work with the students. They also work with the high school students in what we call a side-by-side, where they sat in on a rehearsal with them, providing examples and support to the whole orchestra while the orchestra was rehearsing. We have here with us today, representing the clinicians, Mr. Larry Hutchinson, a longtime member and recently retired member of the Detroit Symphony. Larry Hutchinson, 26 years ago, got together with several of the then string teachers here in the district and invented this Day for Strings. and has been a part of it ever since. And Larry, would you like to say a few words?
Thank you. I'm still, after 26 years, I still can't believe it when I go up on top and take a look at all of the students. And you have to realize that this is only half of them. We've got another group coming in this afternoon. I noticed that if you look in your programs, you'll see the names of the clinicians who were working with your students today. They don't list their titles. And I want you to understand that your students had the opportunity to work with really some of the finest musicians in the country, if not the world. Kim Kennedy, for instance, is the Associate Concertmaster of the Detroit Symphony Orchestra. Two of the other violinists that were here this morning and this afternoon are assistant concertmasters. John Madison is the principal viola of the Michigan Opera Theater. Nadine, stand up, Nadine. Nadine is the principal cellist of the Michigan Opera Theater. So these are people that not only are they super musicians, they absolutely, I know them personally, and they love to work with kids and they love to be here. Congratulate all of you parents for what you've done and the support you give your students. Music has been my life. It changed my life. It absolutely has focused my life, and I have to say my marriage too. So, thank you very much, and congratulations to all the teachers and all of your students especially.
So the high school orchestra this morning, as our guest conductor, we have been absolutely delighted to be able to bring in Mr. Jonathan Glawe from the Ann Arbor Public Schools, who will be conducting the high school orchestra this morning and again this afternoon, and he will introduce this group.
All right, everybody. Whoa, hello. All right, the prerequisite to success is playing in tune, so we're going to go ahead and tune real quick. Okay, yeah, so we spent the first 15 minutes tuning because that's so important what we do. I want to thank you all for having me here. It's been my pleasure to work with this group of students, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about what I'm going to be thinking as I'm conducting the first piece, Pulsar. So you can follow along with your own brains and know what they're thinking as well. So Pulsar is very much about having a good sense of pulse, right? We've been talking about this nonstop. So we've been thinking in our brains that if I was a percussionist, I'd be thinking like, we would be doing just a little bit of that in our brain, constantly having a subdivision going on. And I told them to have little percussionists in their brain doing some type of beatbox, some type of thing. And then we talked about bow distribution. So as you watch, you'll see hopefully some folks not using too much bow, so they can stay on time. And then finally, hopefully just going after it and having fun and enjoying the music. So we've been aiming for artistry this morning, and we hope you hear that. So we're going to start with Pulsar. Farmington. You have a precious gem in this community. You have no idea. You are so lucky. And it's been my honor to be here today. And I gotta tell you, I've done several clinics around lately, and there's just a great energy and a great spirit in this community. Give yourselves a round of applause. This is tremendous. Oh, wow. All right, we're going to end our portion with a piece by Sunhee Newbold entitled, they say Aquilius. There's a lot of U's. How would you say it? Everybody's like Aquilius. That's what they're telling me. That's not how I would. That's okay. All right. So anyway, we're going to enjoy, and hope you enjoyed this. There are 2 moments specifically in this piece that we've worked really hard on achieving a bowing concept and beauty. You should hear resonance and ring, and it'll be fun. So thank you very much.
Thank you, high school orchestra. The grand finale, as is our tradition here, we finish with everyone playing together, playing Simple Gifts. Before students, if you could get ready quietly, before we play, I have a couple short thank yous. All of this would not happen without a lot of effort by a lot of people. The entire staff of the music department here in the Farmington Public Schools comes together to make this happen. Would all the music staff please wave to the audience? We, the music staff, can't do this without support. And that support starts at the highest level. It starts from the Board of Education that sets a tone and an expectation and an opportunity for this kind of excellence in the performing arts to happen. It comes from the administration that then puts that into place by providing both the resources and the scheduling and just all the ways that allow these students to do what we do. And then the most important thank you for me is to all of you for sharing your students with us, for entrusting them to us, and for supporting your students by creating the possibility that they can have music in their lives. As has been said, it changes lives, it changes their lives in ways they won't know for many years sometimes. But thank you, and continue to support your students this way, and they will reap the benefits for the rest of their lives. We're going to finish up with Simple Gifts, and were there any other thank yous? I guess I want to say again thank you to all our conductors for being a part of this. Where do the kids go after dismissal? Yes, I'll say that now rather than waiting till the end so that when we're done with Simple Gifts we can be finished. Parents and families and audience members in general, when we are finished, can you stay in your seats until all the students have left the room? And students, would you leave the room in the following ways? 5th grade cellos, violas, basses. When we are done, you will go out this door over to where your instruments and coats and cases are. 5th grade violins, would you go out this door, and then you go around the corner and over to the cafeteria, where your cases and coats are. High school students and the cellos and basses of the 7th grade orchestra, you will go out this door over here and down the hall back to where your coats and cases are. Violins and violas of the 7th grade orchestra, you will go out this door and turn left. And you will go, that's the direction to your coat rooms. And that's where you will pack up. And then once the students have all left and safely gotten their instruments out into the halls and out, then parents, you can go meet them at their coat rooms, which is where you dropped them off in the first place. So, again, thank you all very much for making this a possibility. And here we have, to finish off, the traditional song, Simple Gifts. On behalf of the North Farmington Graders of the Performing Arts, I would like to welcome you to North Farmington High School. And on behalf of the entire music department, and in particular the string department here in the Farmington Public Schools, welcome to the 26th Annual Day for Strings. What you see in front of you is only half of our Day for Strings. This morning, just as many students were here, representing the 5th grade, the 7th grade, and the other half of the high school. So today we have our 6th grade orchestra, our 8th grade orchestra, and our high school vivace orchestra. And we're going to present a lot of very cool music and introduce the students to each other, introduce the 6th graders to what's possible as they move forward, help the older students remember where they came from, and in general, I hope help you see just what an amazing group of students, faculty, and support throughout the community we have here for the performing arts and for the string department. It's truly an honor to be a part of that. And I really want to just welcome you to take it all in. How many of you are, raise your hands if you are the parents of a 6th grader. Raise your hands if you are the parents of an 8th grader. Raise your hands if you are the parents of a high schooler. Raise your hands if you're not the parents of anyone down here, you're just someone coming to support the program. It's so great to have you all here. We are going to start our program today with our 6th grade orchestra. And to start that off, I would like to introduce you to Sarah Lenhart and Pam Kilbride. And they have been our guest clinicians. Ms. Lenhart is from the Hudsonville Public Schools, and Ms. Kilbride is from the Berkley Public Schools. They are here working their magic with our students. They've been doing that all day. And they're going to introduce to you what the 6th grade orchestra is going to play.
Thank you. It is an honor to be here in Farmington. You have a wonderful string program. Not every district has what you have. And we are grateful to be here and work with your students. The 6th grade orchestra is going to play a Aeolian rock and then a song called Sea Venture.
And just a quick thing, we want to say thank you to those parents that you heard those students last year as beginners in 5th grade and you thought, ooh, that sounds really maybe. And you're going to hear completely different things 6th grade because they weren't here for Day for Strings last year because we took the year off. So this is the first time that these 6th graders are performing in this fantastic event. We want to thank the students for all your hard work. You behaved so well. You listened, you followed instructions. Thank you so much to the staff that made sure that they were ready and prepared. So we're going to do Aeolian Rock and then Sea Venture.
Thank you, 6th grade orchestra. Well done. What you're hearing today doesn't happen in a vacuum. There are so many people involved in making all of this happen. One group of people that are working very hard this morning and this afternoon, if any of you are videotaping this, or if any of you are not videotaping this and wishing that it had been videotaped, our very own TV studio, TV10, is recording the whole thing through their brand new high-def, fully state-of-the-art TV studio, and that will be on TV10 shortly. And so thank you to TV10 for being a part of this process here. What you're hearing here is the result of not just today's work, but lots of hard work on lots of people, by lots of people, particularly, of course, all the students. Bravo to the 6th grade. It's very exciting. Listening to you and watching you as someone who will get to work with many of you in the coming years, all I can say is I'm really excited. There's a lot of cool things going on here, and I really look forward to that, as I know all my colleagues do. This, everything you see here happens as a result of the hard work these students do every day with all their faculty members. Can I ask all of the music department faculty members to just wave madly in the air so you can see who they are. And what we're able to do does not happen in a vacuum. It starts with the Board of Education being totally committed to providing opportunities like this for the students in the district, making sure that we are both able to teach them and the students are able to participate in this is a high priority here. And that high priority comes to the board because of you parents, insisting that this is a high priority and expecting that this is a high priority. Thank you to all of you parents, thank you to the board members. That is carried out through the administration, the central administration, all our building administrations, totally supporting what happens here. It's very exciting to be able to be a part of that. Our next group is the 8th grade orchestra, and they are right over here. You can tell who they are because they're in red. And they are going to be conducted by a dear colleague of mine, Ms. Wendy Stuart, who is the orchestra director in the Clarkston schools, and we have been colleagues for a very long time. And I love getting to work with her students. I know she loves getting to work with the students here, and we try to do that as much as possible. Please welcome Ms. Wendy Stuart and the 8th grade orchestra.
It's such a privilege to be here today. It's such an honor to work with all these kids and they can hear my jokes for the first time. It's great. I love it. No, I'm really excited to be here today, and I've been having such a great time with the students. We've been working on playing together and doing all these great things. So we're going to perform for you today 2 pieces. We're going to start with Wyvern. And we're going to end with A Knight's Quest. And I want to say thank you to the community and bravo to you for what an amazing program you have. Treasure it, nurture it, and parents and families, thank you so much for allowing your students to find something within music that they never thought they'd be able to do. Students, I hope, all students, I hope you continue playing, and I hope you continue being part of music for the rest of your lives. It's meant so much to me, and I know it does to you as well. So thank you so much.
Bravo, 8th grade orchestra, and thank you, Ms. Stuart. A day like this doesn't happen without an enormous army of volunteer help. And I want to thank every parent there are parents from every school that's represented here who have volunteered their time to make today work. The booster organizations of all the high schools have contributed their time and talents to making this work. And I particularly want to thank Ms. Lisa Hayes, the president of the North Farmington Band and Orchestra Boosters, for organizing the parent volunteer effort. Thank you. One aspect of what happens here that is not visible except in the results is that throughout the day we have been assisted by a cadre of professional musicians, some of the finest musicians in the area, members of the Detroit Symphony, members of the Michigan Opera Theater, who come to work with the students. They provided sectionals for the 8th grade orchestra and also for the 7th grade orchestra this morning. And they participated with the high school orchestras both in the morning and in the afternoon in what we call a side-by-side rehearsal, where they sat in with the orchestra and provided their expertise during the course of the rehearsals. These musicians come here because they love teaching, because they love working with students, that they love music, and because they're asked. And the person who does that asking is someone, another dear colleague of mine, a longtime member of the Detroit Symphony in the bass section, recently retired, and Mr. Larry Hutchinson, 26 years ago, got together with members of the faculty at that time of the Farmington Music faculty and invented the Day for Strings. And he's here still working with us, still working with clinicians, and I want to introduce Mr. Hutchinson.
Thank you, John. This is a very exciting day. One thing I wanted to mention to all of you, that even though the names of the clinicians are listed in your program, but what they do is not listed. I want you to know that these aren't just some of the best musicians in the area. These are world-class professionals. We have literally the leadership in the string sections of the Detroit Symphony. The associate concertmaster was here today working with your children. The two of the assistant concertmasters were here today. In fact, talk about world-class. Hai Shen, who's a good friend of mine, answered my email and told me he would do this from Shanghai. So they are wonderful people. The principal viola and principal cello from the Michigan Opera Theater were here today. And I can tell you they love working with all of your students. You know, I have to say, 8th grade violists. John Madison was absolutely blown away by you guys. He came out raving about you and said that was the best sectional group he's ever worked with. And he teaches a lot, I can tell you. I would also urge you to do one other thing. Take your children and go down to Orchestra Hall and see the Detroit Symphony people and the Michigan Opera people and watch them play in their own homes, their own places. Orchestra Hall is one of the best concert halls in the country. And that's one of the things I miss dearly about not playing there. You know. So, thank you for all of your support. Thank you for being here, and congratulations to all you kids. You know, enjoy music forever.
welcome to the High School Vivace Orchestra and Mr. Jonathan Glawe from the Ann Arbor Public Schools, we are blessed in this state to have some of the nation's leading music educators, and Mr. Jonathan Glawe is one of them, and welcome.
Hello everyone, hello everyone. Okay, it's getting cold in here, and my orchestra's been sitting a while, so we gotta do something real quick. Hey, thank you for bearing with us for a second. We just needed to do a stupid human trick to get warm. Okay, we are going to go ahead and tune. Let's go ahead. Okay, hold it. Tuning is the prerequisite for success. So here we go. I will be brief because we've done a lot of talking, but I gotta tell you, this has been one of the highlights of my fall working with this group in Farmington. I showed up and within the first 5 minutes I was like, this is gonna be fun. Do you remember that? Because I knew it. And here's why. Because we see the beautiful growth between elementary, middle, all the way up to high school, what you establish technically here. We take that at the high school level and we create artistic moments. And that's what we've been trying to do today, artistry. So we hope you sit back and enjoy both of our pieces. First piece, Dvorak's Serenade, one of the most beautiful pieces written by Dvorak. And we are really trying to achieve step above and beyond the notes. And then we will close with our wonderful piece by Sunki Newbold. So enjoy the high school orchestra.
Thank you, Mr. Glawe and the high school orchestra. What wonderful music. We are going to finish our concert as we always do with a performance by everyone all together of Simple Gifts. Before we play this last number, I have one final thank you. To me personally, this is the most important thank you, and that is to all of you, the parents, the families of these students, for giving us the honor and the joy of working with your students, for trusting us with your students, and for supporting them as they find their inner decision. Thank you for being a part of this in everything that you do, in every way that you support your students every single day. Keep it up. They're worth it, and we're honored and grateful to be able to be a part of their lives each and every day. A quick housekeeping before we finish. When the concert is over and we finish with Simple Gifts, we're going to ask that all the parents please just stay seated while we let all the musicians with their instruments exit the building. Or not the building, exit the room. They'll exit the building with you. 6th grade, violas, cellos, and basses. When we're done, you will exit out this door back to your coat room, where you will pack up. Violins in the 6th grade, you will exit out that door, take everything with you, and go around the corner over to the cafeteria. 8th grade violins and violas will exit out of that door and immediately turn left to go down to the 900 wing to your coat rooms and to be able to pack up all your stuff. 8th grade cellos and basses and all the high schoolers will exit out of that door and head down the hall that way to your coat rooms and where you left all your things. At that point, then parents, you can I said the violins and violas for 8th grade are going to go out this door and turn that way to the 900 hall. I think I said that. I did say that. Now we said it twice. Good. Parents, then meet your students where they're packing up their instruments. And as always, our custodial staff here at North is amazing and does remarkable work. They've been here since 6:15 this morning, making sure that everything we need is taken care of here. And if we could help them by stacking all 300 chairs here, many hands makes quick work. And we can get that taken care of and help out the whole process. So any parents who can help out with that while your students are getting packed up would be great. Let's finish with Simple Gifts. And thank you again all for being here. Thank you all and see you next year.